Pretty amazing case of breaking news tonight in the Jussie Smollett story, the hate hoax that he apparently perpetrated. New surveillance footage prior to the attack has come out. And just moments ago, police formally charged Smollett with a felony. A lot going on. Matt Finn is here from Chicago. Police headquarters to sort it out for us. Matt?
Tucker, Smollett formally charged with filing a false police report, which carries up to a 3-year sentence here in Illinois. Chicago police say their detectives today presented their evidence to a grand jury in the courthouse behind me. And also the Osundaro brothers attorney says that the brothers testified before this grand jury for 2.5 hours today. The Osundaro brothers attorney says the brothers do not have a plea deal or immunity. That's not why they're cooperating, according to the attorney. The attorney says you, quote, don't need a plea deal when you have the truth. The brother's attorney also says she does not know how Jussie Smollett is sleeping at night, and she is urging Jussie Smollett to cooperate with authorities. Also, the brother's attorney says her clients don't feel pressured or manipulated by this Hollywood actor, but would not expand on why they got involved in this alleged hoax. The brother's attorney also says she does not expect charges against her clients. She would also says that the brothers will reveal their truth eventually. We also obtained a new video showing the brothers apparently purchasing the black masks and red hats at a hardware store. The surveillance video shows them doing that. The ball tonight is now in Jussie Smollett's court. It will depend on what type of strategy his legal team is advising him. We do know that Chicago police requested last Saturday that Jussie Smollett answer a couple more of their questions after the Osundaro brothers gave some type of testimony that dramatically altered this case. But as of this moment, it appears that Smollett has not cooperated with police, and Smollett is also facing federal charges because the FBI is investigating that he alleged death threat letter that he received 1 week prior to this hoax. And if he lies to federal authorities, or if he had any part in that letter, he could be in trouble with the FBI as well. Tucker.
Matt Finn in Chicago. I've got to wonder if he'll be arrested in a pre-dawn raid by dozens of armed agents. Oh, wait, he's not Roger Stone. Thanks, Matt. Libby Locke is an attorney who's been involved in a number of high-profile cases like this, and she joins us tonight for some perspective. Libby, thanks very much for coming on. So first, if you would give us some sense of what the charge is against Jussie Smollett and the penalty for it, potentially.
Sure. So, Tucker, it sounds like Mr. Smollett has been charged with giving a false report to the police. As your reporter just noted, that there's a possible 3-year sentence that Mr. Smollett could face for jail time. And this is a very serious charge. And in my perspective, these kinds of hoaxes, if Mr. Smollett did in fact make up this allegation and did in fact engage in this reporting to the police and wasted police resources, he should in fact go to jail and spend time in jail. Too many of these hoaxes are not prosecuted, and we need some deterrence here.
So that really kind of is the point. I mean, there's a long list of people who've been hurt by these hoaxes, but seems a pretty short list of the people who've been held accountable for perpetrating them. Can you think of another example where someone's gone to prison for something like this?
I can't. We dealt with this in the Rolling Stone case that we prosecuted, yes. The UVA, the fake gang rape that a woman on campus told to a reporter at Rolling Stone. Now, she did not make a false report to the police. She never reported that rape to the police, and therefore the police didn't have a basis to bring charges against that woman. Here, that's very different than Mr. Smollett. If he in fact made up this attack and reported it to police, that is a basis for not only state charges, but also federal charges. If any of the conduct that he engaged in impacted interstate commerce or was in interstate commerce, then there's a federal angle to that too.
It's so interesting, though, that it's not simply a question of how the police respond, law enforcement responds, but also the people covering it, the press. There is this instinct to protect the false accuser, the person spreading hatred and fear and distrust in our society. In the case that you were involved in at UVA in Charlottesville, Virginia, the woman who made the false claims was protected, in effect, by the Washington Post and other media outlets for a long time. I never understood why.
Yeah, her anonymity was protected throughout that process because she purported to be a victim of rape, even though every story of rape that she told, there were multiple stories, turned out to be, debunked. And here, this is an example of media confirmation bias at its best. From the very get-go, the media rushed in and said, and politicians too, Tucker, rushed in and said this attack was horrible. They immediately hashtag believed Jesse. And there was no stopping and thinking about, does this smell right? What are the facts here? And look, now it sounds like the prosecutors believe that there was a false report. They have brought charges. And, I would like to see what the evidence is, his phone records,
I mean, I don't know what the evidence is either, but I know a BS story when I see one. I thought it from day one. But why the media, which is paid to be skeptical and paid to chase down facts, are the ones demanding that we believe? I mean, Robin Roberts on ABC colluded with this guy to perpetuate his hoax. The other channels, the dishonest ones we compete against, are not even covering this development, apparently. Why would reporters fall for this before everyone else?
Well, that's a great question, Tucker. It's exactly why Justice Thomas was correct in raising yesterday in the Supreme Court why we need to rethink that New York Times versus Sullivan standard, which is the actual malice standard that was applied in the Warren Court back in the 1960s, which has insulated the media from liability in these cases. And this confirmation bias is a real problem.
I totally agree.
An informed American electorate is important, and the media is responsible for helping the American electorate be properly informed.
That's right. And we're falling down on the job, I would say. More us being the media. Libby Locke, thank you very much. One
Thanks
of the
for
few
having
people
me.
with direct experience in these stories.